Hey guys, what's up? It's Amanda and welcome back to my art channel. For today's video, I am going to be showing you this time lapse of a drawing that I did of Princess Zelda from The Legend of Zelda. So everybody's freaking out about Breath of the Wild. I know it just released. I think the lowest rating it has is like a 9 out of 10. I don't personally own it, so I haven't played it yet. But conveniently enough, I had this drawing of Zelda sketched out like a few months ago, so a little bit prior to the release date of Breath of the Wild, and I figured, hey, what better time to release it, right? So a few of you were there during the live stream for this piece. I had a lot of fun with that, and in the live stream I talked about how this piece was going to be a little bit of a challenge for me because I wanted to achieve a very particular effect with this piece, and I really wanted to work hard on creating a nice background and environment for this piece. But oddly enough, I hadn't really drawn in a background. I really just sort of let the whole background happen naturally. I just sort of said, hey, I'm going to wing it, and we're going to do that when we get there and see how it goes. But as far as the overall color scheme, I really wanted to create a very light fantasy kind of watercolor effect. So all of the colors in this piece are very, very light. I don't think I used a marker that was darker than like a 5 in like the Copic marker range, which a 5 is a mid-tone, and that was the darkest tone that I used throughout the coloring this piece. So everything is very light, but I still wanted to include a lot of color and a lot of sort of dimension so that the piece looked real. Now, unfortunately, for most of the live stream, my webcam looks really blown out, so it's kind of hard for you guys to see what I'm doing until we get a little bit closer to the end. But you can definitely see Zelda's form starting to take place. And I was kind of nervous to do this on a live stream because I wasn't really sure how certain parts of the piece were going to go. Like I said, I had really no background sketched in. I had some idea of what I wanted to do for the background, and I had some reference pictures from the game. Also, I should mention that this is actually Zelda's design from Skyward Sword, not Breath of the Wild. There was this particular image, and I'll go ahead and insert it for you here now, that I was really particularly inspired by colors and everything, and that was really what I was going for when I was approaching this piece. Now, you might be asking yourself, Amanda, if you wanted to achieve a watercolor effect, why didn't you just paint this with watercolors? And the reason is because I had already transferred the sketch onto a piece of marker paper, and I had come too far to go back. That's basically it. I could have transferred this onto a piece of watercolor paper, but I didn't. And instead of going back and throwing away this line art and transferring over a new image, I kind of just said, screw it. We're going to see what happens, and it's just going to be a learning experience. And it definitely was. I was freaking out kind of throughout the process of having to do the trees and the water and the background. I just didn't really know what I was doing. And I had colored Zelda first, and by the time I went in and did the background, I realized that Zelda looked too washed out, so I had to go back in and add more color to her after. And you can see off to the side, I am kind of doing a practice run of some sort of water-like texture for the lake that she's standing in. And I found a couple of reference pictures, both just of water and of water being rendered with Copic markers, and I kind of combined those concepts into what you see before you. And I'm pretty pleased with how it came out. I actually still like my practice run better than I do the actual piece. But I think if I were to attempt this a few more times, I would only get better at it. And it actually wasn't that hard. I think I only used like 4 colors, and I think it looks pretty good. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see a tutorial on this kind of thing? Or do you have any tips or advice on how I can improve? And I do go in with a white gel pen after and just add in even more detail, which was a lot of fun. And everybody was just like really pumped about this piece in the live stream. Everybody was like, I love the way this is turning out. I love the colors. I love the sort of feel that this piece has. And I think that that's really what gave me the confidence to kind of reach out of my comfort zone and try these things that I really wasn't that comfortable doing. I mean, full kind of environment backgrounds are not my thing. And I'm trying to make them more my thing, but this was definitely a challenge, and especially having not really planned it out, that was a little scary. But I just kind of wanted to thank you guys for being so supportive in the chat and just cheering me on. And obviously, anytime I have a live stream, it's cool just for me to get to talk with you guys and hang out with you guys. That's one of my favorite parts. And for a piece like this, it was especially nice because I could reach out to you guys and say, hey, what do you think I should do for this part of the piece? What color should I use? Should I add more trees? That kind of thing. So it was kind of nice having you guys there as like my I don't know what you would call it, like my think tank, my advice panel. So that was really cool. I am trying to do more live streams. I don't know how many I'll be able to get in a month. I'd like to say at least 2 if I can manage, but definitely 1 for each month. So this was the live stream for March, and hopefully this Sunday I can have another live stream. So if you've never been to one of my live streams before, definitely come and check them out. They're here on YouTube, so all you have to do is be subscribed, and if you click notifications, you'll get an email when I go live. Or if you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, I always post it on there as well. So that is how you get notified about live streams. And it's a lot of fun. They're very casual. I usually don't have more than like 10 people tops in the stream at one time, and then usually only like half of those people are in chat. So it's a very good chance that I'm going to see all of your comments and be able to respond to like every single one of them. So I like that about my live streams. I like that they are a little smaller and more intimate because I really get to just take that time to talk with you guys. So now kind of just moving on, I zoomed the webcam in a little bit more because I was going to start working on the lining of this piece. Now, part of me wishes that I was just that much better at rendering with Copic so that I wouldn't even have to line this at all, because I'm looking back at it now and I actually really, really liked the way that it looked when it was lineless. It had a few of the lines left from my initial sketch, which was in a blue Prismacolor Kohl Erase pencil. And then here I'm going over the majority of the lines with a purple Prismacolor Kohl Erase pencil and just kind of defining things a little bit more. One thing that I did want to mention that I'm not particularly thrilled about in this piece, I know this is like very, very nitpicky, but the way that her eyes turned out, if this was any other character other than Zelda, I would love it, but the facial features to me just don't scream Zelda. And I did draw her ear a little bit big, which in hindsight, I wish I had kind of corrected that earlier on. But I don't know, for some reason, her face to me isn't very Zelda-esque. So I don't know. But it's obviously very nitpicky. The style of the games has changed a lot over the years. So, but I wasn't really referencing her likeness so much. I figured like, oh, Zelda, as long as she has this long flowy hair and these pointy ears and blonde hair, like you're gonna kind of know that it's her. And this was, I don't know, it was overall, it was a challenge for me. This was a piece that was kind of intimidating for me starting out. But overall, I think I conquered most of the challenges rather well. And I'm definitely excited about doing more of these full backgrounds. I'm removing the artist tape now, and one thing that I did want to mention about the paper that I'm using is that the artist tape I use always rips. Maybe it's my artist tape, maybe it's the paper, I don't really know, but I always have at least one part of the piece that like rips. And this time it wasn't too bad, but it's a little frustrating because like it'll be fine for most of the piece and then it'll be it'll just rip off like one part. I don't know why. So anyway, for the background, just to kind of finish everything up, I'm taking a little bit of the colorless blender fluid and I'm sort of dropping that in the background and keeping most of it on sort of the lighting that's behind her, but I do kind of throw a little bit of the these kind of glowy bubble-like spheres into the trees and into the water as well. And this just kind of, it's a very, very subtle effect. I had to even enhance it a little bit in Photoshop after the piece was done, which you're going to see the finished piece here coming up in a little bit. But it just added to that very like magical, mystical Zelda vibe, you know, where this wasn't just like a fairy girl or wasn't just like a nymph. I don't know. I think it really kind of tied the whole piece together, even though it is very, very subtle. So yeah, here is the finished piece coming up here shortly. Overall, I'm really happy with it. I think that it turned out pretty cool. But comment down below, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys next week with some brand new videos.